Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to UB Football Insider. We are at Towne BMW on Main Street in Clarence for this very special edition, and because it's so special, we've got both coaches here to talk a little bit about some cars, a little bit about coaching, a little bit about Western New York. We welcome in Lance Leipold and Nate Oates. When you sit here and you look at all these cool cars, and I know you guys both got a chance to drive a couple of them, are you car guys at all, either of you?
I don't think I would classify myself as a car guy, but that car I drove tonight might turn me into a car guy.
Lance, how about you? Are you a car guy?
I haven't been. My wife is. She knows more about it, and she's here with me. And we're like looking around, going, "Wow, this is unbelievable." Some of the vehicles that are here.
Everybody always wants to know what was your first or most memorable car in your lifetime that either of you drove.
Well, it was definitely not a BMW. My first car I bought with my paper out money was like a Plymouth Turismo. I don't know if you'd classify that as a car anymore or not. I graduated to Cadillac Seville in college.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it was like old, but it was all right.
Right. Now, was that cool in Wisconsin, a Cadillac Seville in college?
If you're from Watertown, Wisconsin. If you're from Jefferson, where I'm from, I took my driver's test in a Ford Pinto, so you could tell where I was at.
I thought you would have had the pickup that was lowered all the way to the ground, being from Jefferson.
What did you learn all about gesture control when you were wheeling around the 750?
We had a little Tupac going on the radio. You just go like, you don't even touch it. You just gesture control it. Like a foot away, you go like this. It turns the radio all the way up, or you go like this. Or best thing yet, you point at it to answer the phone. Or if you don't want the call, you just wave it off. So like Lance calls, I go like this. Alan calls, I got to point at that one.
Of course.
So yeah, you point at it to take it, wave it off if you don't want it.
Right.
These would be big on recruiting weekends.
Well, I was going to say, if you drop some of this knowledge on your team at the next team meeting, are they going to be impressed that you know all about BMW gesture control?
I don't know if they'd be impressed. They'd be more impressed if I drove up in one. So we can add that into like the coaching. I don't know. So we can throw that in somehow.
You mean the budget does not allow on recruiting trips for you guys to wheel around in some of these things?
Well, we will address that when we're off the air here. So, no, it definitely would be is something that just like we try to do in recruiting, you try to impress recruits, and it's definitely the people here at Towne BMW do a great job impressing their people.
Yes, they do. It's interesting. You guys already joked about it. You're both from You're both from Wisconsin, both from sort of the same neck of the woods. Has there been kind of a fun relationship that you guys have had something like that in common? So, here in Buffalo, both kind of being from the same area?
Absolutely. I think it's something that ironically when Nate and the basketball team played at the University of Wisconsin, just through some text messages, we found out that we grew up 15 miles apart. So that's been, and our wives have become good friends, and it's been a neat relationship.
Yeah, it has been cool. Like literally, Watertown's where I grew up, Jefferson's where he grew up. They're next door to each other. Mm-hmm. So they're a little bit of rivals. Watertown was always a lot better, but I didn't go to the public school. He was the big-time athlete back in high school.
I see.
So.
I see how that works. So I'm sure you and I have talked about this a little bit, Lance. There's a lot of Wisconsin in Buffalo. There's probably a lot of Buffalo in Wisconsin. Has the transition for both of you guys in becoming Western New Yorkers been a little easier because of that?
Yeah, it's been amazing, really, as we continue to get out in the community and we meet people. And one of the first things they say is, how are you doing? How are you adjusting? And then they say it's very Midwestern. And I think that's something that's made our family feel at ease, and that people have the same type of values, and they care about where they're from. They're passionate about what they're doing. They believe in hard work and just good moral standards that I think has made it very easy for not just our family but our whole staff to adjust to.
Yeah, and I think we saw a lot of that, Nate, with when your wife went through what she went through, just the outpouring of sort of love from Western New York for you, even though you weren't from here. We saw a lot of that.
This place is a lot more Midwest than it is New York City for sure. So you're comfortable here. Plus you got, Wisconsin's all about the Packers. It's a small town, but like they're huge Packer fans. Well, Buffalo's all about the Bills. The big difference is that Green Bay's been winning a lot more, so I can wear my Packers stuff. I probably shouldn't say that now that I'm here in Buffalo.
I was just going to ask you. The NFL season starts tomorrow, so what's the sense from a couple of Packers fans on what the year's going to be like?
Well, I haven't been able to really track it as well as I used to as far as what they have going, but I know they had an exciting college football game at Lambeau Field last week. But I think, though, what Nate's alluding to is, again, cheering for the home team, supporting the local team. They're passionate about it. They're loyal to their fan base, as a fan base, and that's something I know that both of our programs are striving that we can do equally.
Nate, just this week, the schedule came out, and while we're talking about other parts of the country and travel and so forth, that's sort of the overriding part of what your schedule looks like. 8,200 miles covered this year. I don't know if you knew
it's
that.
It's going to be fun.
You know,
the genius that put that schedule together. I don't know. Fire him.
Right? Now, an Alaska trip chews up most of those miles. We get that. But are you excited about that chance to go out to the Great Alaska Shootout?
No, it's fun. I mean, it's been great tradition out there. I mean, the problem is we get to play Alaska, right, like Alaska Anchorage in the first game, and they've upset. I told my assistant I want down every single team they beat through all the years, because they beat like high major teams every. So my guys hopefully will not take them for granted, but it'll be a fun trip. I've never been to Alaska, so it'll be a lot of fun. Hope it's not the same as the Bahamas where we just got back from.
Say you're a world traveler this
we go
year.
where the beaches. Now we go up to the glaciers, I guess. I don't know. Do some salmon fishing maybe.
How was the Bahamas trip? I know your guys won both of their games down there, but overall, what was the experience like?
It was fun. We got to play a little beach volleyball. My wife went on the trip. We got to hang out as a team. It was a good bonding experience. Alan and his wife, Alan and Christy, went, so they got. Alan didn't lay in the sun nearly as much as me. His tan. I got to work on mine a little bit more. It's all peeling off now, but
now I guess on the football end of things, you got to get to a bowl to get these kind of trips.
Absolutely.
Right?
I just think Nate wants double miles so he can get one of these BMWs or something that he could use to trade.
Can you buy one with miles?
I don't know.
Right.
I'm gonna look into it.
You got a long trip of yourself coming up here in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure, is Nevada farther than Anchorage? I'm sure some geography expert will tell me whether I'm right about that or not.
No, we do have think about a 5-hour flight, and usually with that and time change, there's a lot of things that you look into as far as the team traveling and acclimating itself, and that in and of itself will be a challenge, let alone a good football team that we played last year here.
Right. All right. Well, later on in the show, we're going to get a chance to see both of these guys wheeling around in some cool BMWs, and even I got a chance to wheel around in the coolest one of them all. So we'll do a little more of that when we continue with UB Football Insider from right here at Towne BMW in Clarence. We're back right after this. Buffalo sports fans, the Bulls are back at UB Stadium when they host the Army Black Knights on Saturday, September 24th at 7 o'clock. Stampede Square opens at 4 p.m., featuring family fun entertainment and country music star David Nail on the Tailgate Concert Series stage. For tickets and more information, call 877-UB-THERE or visit ubbulls.com. It's football, tailgating, and live music, so make sure to be counted and get your tickets today.
This segment of UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold is brought to you by CEFQ. For all your banking, insurance, and investment needs, visit your local branch or go to cefq.com.
It's a nice ride.
Yes, this is one of the biggest SUV we make, the X5.
So what's one of your favorite features of this thing?
One of my favorite features is definitely going to be the BMW Online, where you get a bunch of different apps and stuff integrated right into the iDrive itself.
Okay.
If you're a big music person, then Spotify, Pandora is all controlled right through the iDrive. So right now we're in the comfort mode. If you were to want to go to Sport or Eco Pro, you would just hit one of the dynamic buttons at the left of the shifter.
All right.
And what it's going to do is it's going to put it into sport mode, and that's going to tighten up your steering. It's going to give you much more throttle response. You're going to get full 445 horsepower of this awesome engine.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yes, you get a real cool grumble.
Yeah, you can hear the growl too. Acceleration, wow.
Yeah, that's one of the cool
Very
parts too of what we call our twin-powered turbo. It's a single turbo, but it's a twin scroll. If you're familiar with turbo vehicles, when you put your foot down, sometimes it might take a minute, called turbo lag.
Yeah.
The idea behind the twin scroll is that it handles the low and the high RPM. So whenever you put your foot down, it's just power right there instantly. So.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold. My name is Paul Peck. We're joined by UB Athletic Director Alan Green. We're here at Towne BMW in Clarence. We're talking cars. We're talking football. Alan's here, Lance, to talk a little bit about the one thing that I'm sure all Bulls fans noticed when they were at the game, the season opener at UB Stadium, which was the Murchie Family Football Center. The Murch, as it's affectionately known. You had to have noticed it there. Tell everybody a little bit what they might not have noticed, which is what's inside and how much it really helps your football team.
Well, it's been a great addition, Paul, to our program. And what's really inside is a classroom setting for each position group to break out and have meetings, where in previous years we were all over the football facility, up in the press box area, in actual offices, things like that. Now we have really a straight hallway where everybody can break out. There's great, it's been efficient. The equipment that we have, everything has been just such a better environment for us to teach the game of football to our players.
Right, Alan, I know you're tuned into the facilities arms race, as it's called in college sports. How important was getting the Murchie Family Football Center up and running for Lance and his team this year?
Yeah, Paul, you know what? I think everything we do is mission critical. It's important that our football program and all of our student athletes have world-class facilities to practice, to train, to learn, so that they can be as prepared as possible when it comes time for them to compete.
How much of a role did you play in the actual designing of it, Lance?
Fortunately, in the spring of the year, I had a chance with Alan, Paul Batar, also from our Director of Football Operations, along with many other people from the campus, had a chance to have input on many steps of its organization, that we're able to utilize the donation from the Murchie family and put it to use in as much functional space as we possibly could.
Did he pick the waterfall, or was that you?
You know what's interesting? So every time I come over to visit, he's like, here's HGTV. Let's check out what they did with this. Check out what they did with that. I'm like, okay, Paul. No,
you mean he's not always watching college football games?
Not always watching college football. He likes Joanna Gaines.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, see, there he goes.
But and when people do come by, though, there is something that you said in the arms race. But as you look into the open area now that we have, it is going to say that our mission is to do things first class for our players in recruiting, and yet have an efficient classroom setting that it'll be efficient for our program.
And the other big key to the football facilities is obviously the field house. Alan, what's the update on where you guys are at? I know there have been some developments.
Yeah, obviously everyone knows that a field house is critical to our program. For football, it's very, very important. And it's also important for our other sports. We have 530 student athletes that all need a place to train indoors. The update on that is that we have made tremendous progress in fundraising. We feel comfortable moving forward with that next step, and that is designing it. So we are currently in design phase, and we're still looking for people to contribute to that program or contribute to that project, and we're actively seeking people to help us make this project come to fruition.
All right, always a key to the success of any athletic program, football and all the other sports, are facilities. Thanks for the update as always, Alan. I know you're going to go do a little shopping here after we're done here.
Yeah, I might buy a car too. I'm not sure which one yet.
He's got to decide. Maybe Lance will help him pick out a color.
Maybe he can help me pick out the interior.
There you go. We got much more coming up on UB Football Insider from here at Towne BMW in Clarence.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun car with that 4.4 V8 in it.
So if I go like this, it makes the radio go up?
Yep.
How do you change channels? You go like do the...
2 fingers. So if you point 2 fingers at it, there we go. If you were to receive a phone call, to answer the phone call, all you would do is point at the screen. To decline it, you just swipe away and it declines the phone call for you. Hit that one button, it'll steer for you.
Like...
It'll follow
like
the curves. It uses the road striping.
Okay, hold on, I don't believe this. But...
So we're going to set it for 55, and now you can let your feet off the pedals.
Now you're telling me this is going to steer.
It will. You do have
So
to
we're
kind
not going to get in a wreck.
No. It does require you to kind of just ground it out to actually touch the steering wheel due to U.S. regulations.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
So I have to leave my hand on it.
Right, but you'll actually feel the car steer itself. And now what you're going to see is now you're not touching the gas or the brake. The car is going to automatically find the distance, and it'll continue to follow. So if the guy in front of you, were to brake or slow down, the car is also going to...
like right now.
Right, now it's going to get a little weird because you're not hitting the brake, but it's going to automatically do it for you.
And it's steering. This is crazy.
Yeah, feel how it's actually pulling you that way?
Welcome back to UB Football Insider as we continue here at Towne BMW in Clarence. I'm Paul Peck with Lance Leipold, and we're joined by Towne BMW sales manager Chuck Skillen to talk a little bit about the cool cars here and a little bit about what you guys have going on here, Chuck. And essentially, while Lance is trying to win MAC championships, and Nate Oates, who was with us earlier, has won those MAC championships, BMW is a championship brand, always striving to be the best in your class. How do you sort of equate that to an athletic department and a football team?
Yeah, no question. It's definitely a team atmosphere, much like a football team or a college basketball team. We've got many different departments all working together towards a common goal. So yeah, there's no question there's similarities there.
Yeah, you think he can get some advice from you on how to properly manage all aspects of a team?
Well, I know definitely there's a lot of times where you see, whether it be coaches writing books or people in business writing books that coaches look at, there's a lot of similarities about teamwork and accomplishments within an organization, I think parallel, but in both of our professions.
Right. What we've had a chance to see the pretty cool cars here. We know that BMW is certainly a luxury brand, one of the best out there. We've had a chance to cruise around in a few of them a little bit. What's going on exciting in the BMW world right now?
Yeah, we think of ourselves more of a performance brand than a luxury brand. The luxury's there, but first and foremost, we want to be known as a performance car company. So what's exciting? You name it. We've got so many new products coming out. Certainly the i8 is a fantastic product that's really taken off in Buffalo as much as anywhere. It's been, you think a car that's $150,000 has a finite number of people who are going to be interested in it, but Buffalo has been one of the great success stories with that car, and it goes on to the new 7 Series, which is all new for 2015 and now 2016 with some of those cool features you were talking about earlier on the show.
Stuff that Nate was all excited about.
It's all
right?
science fiction to me, but it works great. It does work. So.
Right. Well, Lance you got a lot of smart people on your staff, and I know you do as well. Do you call them the BMW geniuses? We had a chance to meet a couple of them so far here as we were cruising around a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what goes into becoming a genius at the BMW level. Yeah,
the Genius program came out in Europe first, and they started talking about bringing it over to the States, and I raised my hand immediately when I first heard about it. The concept behind it is there's going to be different levels. You're going to come in and you're going to talk to a salesperson in a traditional dealership setting. And we just thought with BMW's advice that it makes a lot of sense to have a different layer in there. And that layer is an information layer. So somebody may come in and not be ready necessarily to talk about numbers on a car. They just want to find out about a car. They want to drive it. They want to learn about it. And that's what the Genius program does. They're young, they're enthusiastic, they have that passion for the brand that's so important. And throughout the company, it's the main word that you hear over and over again: passion, passion, passion. They certainly bring that to the table.
All right. Well, Chuck, thank you very much. Thanks for hosting us here. Thanks for being a part of UB Athletics, and certainly thanks for letting us cruise around a little bit in the BMWs.
Enjoyed it. Thanks for coming.
That was a lot of fun. We got much more coming up on UB Football Insider as we continue from Towne BMW in Clarence. We are cruising around Clarence in this awesome BMW i8. Brian, this is about the coolest thing that I have ever been in. Tell me a little bit about this car.
Well, this is our BMW i8, what I like to call our high-performance hybrid. It uses a 3-cylinder turbo engine to power the rear 2 wheels and 2 electric motors up front for each wheel individually.
And we are obeying all Clarence Towne traffic rules at this moment, right? Vouch for me on that one.
Yes, we are.
But if we really wanted to let this thing go, what kind of speeds are we talking about?
It is limited to 155 miles an hour.
That's it, Brian?
Yes, unfortunately.
So now we're going to kick it into sport mode.
Yes, when you put it in sport mode, instead of just using the electric motors and then the 3-cylinder in the back to kind of do a hybrid, it's going to use them all in sync together to give you the most 357 horsepower that the car's got and all of the performance that the car can have.
357 horsepower. That's awesome. Welcome back to UB Football Insider. We're here at Towne BMW in Clarence. We're talking about cars, but now we're going to talk a little football. You get an unexpectedly early bye week. I know it's probably not what you would prefer, but it is what it is. How are you going to use the off week?
Well, like you said, it's probably not the most opportune time when you normally look at open weeks in a schedule. But we thought right away we could benefit from, almost going back to a training camp mode. The other part that we'll do is we're going to take 2 days on Army on the option, and then in the latter part of the week we went to 2 days on Nevada and get extra prep for that game.
Right. Speaking of Nevada, they play this weekend. Matter of fact, they play Notre Dame in Notre Dame Stadium, national television game. Will you take the advantage maybe of tuning in to get a little early look at the Wolfpack?
Well, we'll try. If not, of course, we'll tape it and get a chance to jump on it right away. Our staff and myself will all be out watching high school games Friday, Saturday, and then back in the office ready to prepare for Nevada.
I think one of the things that jumped out for UB fans in the opener was certainly the topic that we've been spending a lot of time talking about, and that was your quarterback position. Tyree Jackson's debut certainly had its moments where you just went, wow, and you said, boy, look at what the potential of this kid is. And then there were moments when he looked like a freshman quarterback. So give us a sense of what you saw from both Tyree and Grant in the opener.
Well, I think the thing that sticks out, unfortunately, is that we turned the ball over 4 times, and each one of them, unfortunately, turned it over twice. So we started the game with 4 series of turnover, a missed field goal, punt, and a turnover, and we end the game with 2 punts, a fumble, and an interception. So those have to be cleaned up by both. You take everything in between there, and I think each one of them showed flashes. And I think everyone that's waited to see Tyree Jackson showed that amazing athleticism that he has, the size, he's willing to be physical, running the ball, and he has a strong arm. Now we just have to continue to gain experience and again, that maturity that it takes for a quarterback to develop.
All right, so you get a little extra time to do that. Off this weekend, then the Bulls make the trip out west to Reno, Nevada to take on the Wolfpack. That's a 9 o'clock game 1 week from today, next Saturday. Enjoy a little bit of downtime. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you very much, Paul.
We want to thank you for joining us for this week's edition of UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold. We've enjoyed our trip here to Towne BMW in Clarence. The cars are great. We had a lot of fun. We thank them for hosting us, and we'll see you next week right here on UB Football Insider.